Hey everyone, I have got a great episode for you today because we are talking about machine quilting in a different kind of way. And I have a guest that will talk all about this type of quilting. And her name is Melodie Harmony, and she has a company called So Harmony. And she has developed these wonderful quilt stencil tools that I have been talking about for like the last 2+ episodes. So,
Yes.
uh, everyone should sort of be, if they've listened, will be kind of familiar with it already. So welcome to the podcast, Melody. Hello.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me, Stephanie. It was so
Uh,
great to see you
you
just a couple weeks ago.
too. I know we were both at H and
Yes.
H, and you also vended at the very first H&H Fabric Fiber, and
Yes, Craft Festival.
there's another F in there. I
Yeah,
forgot what
it
it
was
was.
Fabric and Fiber Craft Festival. I
Festival. Oh,
think is
festival was the
yes.
other word, half word.
Yes.
It's like
Yeah,
the
so
triple F.
that was at the beginning of May in Rosemont, Illinois. So that was fantastic. It was great to see. It was nice because I feel like this was the largest show that's been in the Chicago area for a while. So, and it was open to the public. So that was so fun. A lot of the people from my quilt guild came, and then where you and I met in Grays Lake at the quilt show there, it was fun to see a lot of those quilters as well, and to meet new friends. So
Yeah, we can give them a shout out. I think they're called Village Quilters, right?
yes, Lake
Yes,
Bluff, or
Lake
yeah,
Bluff. Yeah, that was a good show
yes,
too that
that
I went
was
to last
fantastic. Yeah.
October. And I was wanting to go to this festival so bad. But of course, I've had this knee injury and I got super blown up and bad and everything. So and I knew I was going to the regular H&H. So uh, I didn't go to that one on Saturday, but next year. So Harmony is your company, but
Yes.
before we get into that, let's just learn a little bit more about you, the quilter and, you know,
Yes.
all of
So
that.
I grew up doing 4-H with my family. My aunt, my dad's mom and sister were quilters. So that's kind of where the quilting came. But my mom would sew, and she had a sewing machine, but it was kind of just clothes when we were little. Um, and so, but when we were younger, my aunt and my mom led our 4-H group. And so we did a lot of sewing projects with that. And so I remember making this very hideous vest that I had to model at 4-H. So, but then I didn't really do a lot of sewing after that. Like we did a lot of crafting. And aside from making the few 4-H projects, it wasn't until high school that I made a tree skirt for my mom. And actually, it is pieced, but I didn't quilt it. I actually like remember stuffing it kind of with like polyfill, like you would a stuffed animal or something, or a pillow. And so it's very fluffy. Like I don't, I don't know if that was what the pattern called for, or
Well,
if it was supposed to be quilted, or
it could have
I'm
been
not sure.
trapunto, you know?
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Trapunto is where it gets stuffed and quilted, so it's got a lot of
Oh, yeah.
like
Well, I did not.
poofiness.
I pieced it, but didn't never quilted it. And so even now, like my mom has it, and it's very very lumpy, and the piecing has stuck together, but it is no longer like you really have to like try and form it out there so it looks good. But so then when I graduated college, my older sister actually bought me a sewing machine as a graduation gift. So it was just like $100 brother. But I started sewing again with that, and I was making like decorations for our like window treatments and things for our apartment and whatnot. And then I made a quilt for my parents for my dad started a subdivision. They kind of live out in the country. And so I took the picture of this sign. It's called Deer Haven, and it's got a circle and a deer on it. And I appliqued that onto a quilt for them. And so my grandma taught me how to like hand baste and then hand quilt it. And so that was the first actual quilt that I made. So then I started quilting after that. Just small things like I did a block swap. I know there was a blog at the time that did a block swap that my cousin and I participated in, and I made all of the blocks, and I think I pieced the top, but I literally just quilted that within the last 5 years. Like it sat for years just as a piece top.
Whoa, don't I know
And
about that?
yeah, yes. So then I started going with my aunt and my cousins to quilt retreats, which was so fun. And I made a quilt for our oldest, who is now 18. And I think I finished that when he was probably like 7 or 8. So
Hmm.
that took a long time to come. And I made baby quilts for other people, but it was just something I did occasionally because with children, with young kids, I just didn't.
Sorry, my
Um,
microphone.
that's okay.
It's a
That's
new
okay.
microphone and it's like top heavy, so sorry about that. Where
Yes.
were
So I made some baby quilts for friends who had babies and yeah, but otherwise just would attend the quilting retreats with my cousins like once or twice a year. And that was kind of when I was quilting. So,
so you it's nice that you had, friends and family that did that with you,
yes.
and the fact that your whole foundation started and with why am I not
Oh,
thinking of that?
4-H. Yes, yes,
4-H,
4-H.
H4.
Yes. Yes.
4-H, yes, because it seems like people who have that in their youth tend to be able to make anything. Like, it's such a great foundation, I think, to have
Yeah, we
had.
did so many things. We tie-dyed, we did embroidery, I feel like we just did so many different crafts with that, which was great.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
so then you got into quilting, a bit later, and then so what is you said you did not quilt, like, all the time, um, at
yes.
that time, so what how did this happen? Like, how did your interest grow with it? And now, like, you've designed these stencils, and are you quilting more now?
Yes, a lot more. So I think it was right 2018 maybe. I One of the girls at our church, she had found out that I was quilting, and so she invited me to go with her to try out the different quilt guilds in the area. And so I went with Sheila, and went to a couple different quilt guilds. And so I joined one in Crystal Lake, the Crystal Lake Midwest Quilters. And so then I was like, okay, I can really start. Like I was trying then to try and finish projects and working on things, and more just I had so many quilt tops and things started that I was working on towards finishing projects. And I'm one who always wants to do kind of the whole process. Like I never really wanted to send out to a long arm. I know there's several in my quilt guild and in the area, but I just had a desire to finish the projects myself. And so I started watching Angela Walters' The Midnight Quilter. I loved that on YouTube. That was probably around then or just before then. And so I was watching all of her shows. And so I was finishing my quilts with custom free motion. Like would start with the meander, and then um I did, yeah, like I said, custom. So I was doing something different in each block, and really trying out all the different patterns. I have hers. I have Krista's book as well. Like they have such great, books with pattern suggestions and things. Yeah, it's amazing. And Krista as well has excellent videos online too. So I was doing that, and I was enjoying it, but there again, like it was taking me forever to finish things because I was challenging myself to like, I wanted there to be something different in each block, and I wanted so I was, looking through their books or finding YouTube channels and trying to, like, do something different and be creative in every space, but I found that it was taking me so long to finish, and the quilts were so densely quilted that they were stiff. And so my kids did not love them. And so I at the time was also getting the magazine, the Love of Patchwork and Quilting. And with that, they have a kind of a gift or a
Mhm.
notion like with every magazine. And so one of them was quilting stencils. So they were designed by Carly Porter. She is a graffiti quilter. She does pantographs. So she designs pantographs for long arm machines. And she also does beautiful work, but she does not design stencils. Like it was a promo for the magazine. So I had come across the stencils and I had tried them out, marked it, and I was just shocked at how fast I finished it. Like of course it takes the step of marking the pattern, but then um once I marked it, like when you sit down to quilt, you're following the line. And I had been doing free motion too, so I'm sure that having that practice helped a little bit, but you had a path of where to go, and all of them were continuous lines. So, they would go from one edge to the other of your quilt. And I just loved it. And so there were probably four different stencils. And so I used them on a bunch of different quilts. And then I was like, I want more. Like I wanted more stencils because it was an all over pattern. It was not as dense as the custom quilting. I could mark it and have it decided. So I didn't have that when I would have time to quilt. I wouldn't have to, figure out what I was doing and look in the books and all of that. I could just sit down and quilt. And then, the stencils that they had at Joann's at the time, um, are are more traditional, or they're block based. A lot of them are very like they would be, for an 8-inch block or a 12-inch block, or they would be for a border or um I just could not find ones that I really liked. So I started kind of drawing out patterns, and I was cutting them with my Cricut because I thought, oh, I can, cut plastic or, just kind of cut my own. So I started just with cardstock, and then I was using like a Mylar, but um like almost like a transparency sheet, and cutting those, but they're just so flimsy, and then they would bend, and just not the best material. So the more that I looked into it and the more that I was playing around with designs, I was like, I think I want to make them out of something, well, I originally thought maybe chipboard because it's a more sustainable material, and then I realized that I really do want to see through the stencil so you can kind of lay it out and line it up with the blocks and things. So then it led to me buying a laser. So I bought a laser engraver and then started playing around with acrylic. So yeah, it
Ooh, so
snowballed.
you make your prototypes yourself with the laser cutting through the acrylic?
Yes, I actually make
Ooh.
everything. I buy acrylic sheets, and then I am up my production team right here for now. Maybe in the future I will source it out, but I can cut. I have a 16 by 24-inch laser bed. And yeah, and then
So you
I
made this
the whole thing from
the
start to
whole
finish.
Oh my gosh. That's
Yes.
amazing.
Yeah, thanks. It's been
I
so fun. So I
love it.
decided I really wanted them to be transparent, but I also
Yeah,
loved this green. Like you can't see it well on the
I
camera,
like
but
it
it's kind of a
too.
green
Yeah, it
teal
is.
color. Um and and I also, yeah, so I wanted it also to be multifunctional because I don't love single use things. So and two, you want to quilt something different every time.
Right. Yeah.
So I was challenging myself when I made them to be able to do different patterns. So that's why there's and the like when you're using traditional stencils too, you kind of eyeball it with some of the patterns that you can make with these, you would eyeball it. But I also like being able to be consistent with row spacing, which is why I did the cut edge on the top of them. So you can use, the edging to do your spacing and yeah, so it's been so fun. I yeah, was playing around with different shapes you could make with them and the first one that I did was the hexie pop because I really this one that here I brought the quilt samples that I have for it. So this was the first one I did was the hexie pop design.
Yeah.
And that one was the
Nice.
first design I came up with, and then as I was playing with it, I realized, like, oh, you can just overlap it, and then you can make, you know, the different patterns, and then if you
Yes.
turn it over the other way, you can make a diamond, and then you can use the top edge as a row of chevron in it.
Yeah.
So yeah, so just you can
Oh,
do
see, look at all of those you can make with one stencil.
yes, with one stencil. So yeah, so then the other ones as well. Like it's been so fun. So I developed they each have an instruction sheet that come with them um and so I have those printed. Although I actually um when I was at the craft fest, it's just so incredible to meet other people and to kind of get ideas and inspiration. And the one woman suggested maybe even having if I have a PDF or a download for each pattern because it's in the instruction sheet, but I really could put a full page together for each one um, and kind of break it down and then put it together in a binder. Um, Jennifer from the Quilted Cow suggested that, and I was like, "That's such a great idea."
Wait, so to for you to have like the different designs in
Yes,
a
so right now I have
PDF?
yes, so right now I have like, it kind of breaks down the different designs that you could do, but I could almost do it where I each design is a full page, and then you could print them and put them in a binder, you know, so you had more space.
See, that's where everybody is different because I like this compact
Oh, good. Okay,
size.
see?
I like this. I don't wanna
Yes.
have binders.
Well, that will always come with it. But maybe it would
I like
just
the
be
idea of a PDF because maybe if this does get lost, then you have it. Like,
yes.
that still is a good idea, I think, to have a PDF, and not that you have to print them out, you could just put them up on your tablet or whatever. So, I still think that's a great idea,
Yeah,
to
yeah.
do, for sure. But, I think your illustrations here are pretty clear
Oh,
and
great.
well done, and, um you also have some videos to show this too, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I have. Mostly on Instagram, and I'm building my YouTube channel. So I have recorded a video for each of the designs, marking it out. I actually used when I marked it for the video. Just used a Sharpie and paper, just because it's so much clearer. I have videos of me marking it and sewing it on quilts as well, but for those, I'm in the process of editing.
Yeah,
So
yeah, for
hopefully in the
sure.
next few weeks those will get up.
Nice.
You know
Yeah.
how long that takes for
My
editing.
goodness.
It's
So, yeah, yeah. Yeah, and then
I'm tempted to just put them up and then edit and replace as I make them improve them.
some people do that. I mean, it's just, and nowadays I think that, everyone is so used to, like, the raw type of, videos that people just pop on or whatever, and so it's
Yes.
not like how it used to where it's just like your presentation has to be
Yes.
polished, which
Yes.
just getting it out there and getting it done, that's kinda like my challenge too, is just, like, stop trying to, like, make it, perfect first and get it out
Right.
there. 'Cause, just as a side note, okay, here's just a little detour, but when I was switching over to video podcasts,
Right.
and I did the solo one. I've recorded, like, 3 that haven't even gone out because I was like, "No, it's stupid. It doesn't look it's
Oh.
awful," or whatever, it's boring. 'Cause video, like, people want to be entertained, I guess, or whatever, but I don't know, I mean, it's just like and that's what I learned at H&H too, they're just like, "Get it out there, and you can, like, edit it later for sure," and that's what I think a lot of I've seen people do, it's just like, later on they and then it's another thing that you can post, and then it gets before their eyes again,
Right.
and you'll have something probably new in those remade videos, so I'm with you, I hear you on that for sure.
Yes. Yes.
But it is a lot of work to edit people. Especially when you're doing it by yourself.
I can imagine. Yes. Yes.
But that's why this is so great. So, okay, I met you last year at that, Village Quilters quilt
Yes.
show. You had a
Yes.
booth, and, and I was just drawn in to it, and we started talking, and thank goodness, like, I think it was more towards, like, the last day of the show, and,
Right.
thankfully for me, it wasn't, like, super crowded busy, at the time that I saw you,
Right. So we had a
so
chance
we
to
had a chance
chat.
to talk. Yes,
Yes.
yes, and you showed me, like, the whole demo and with the tracing and stuff like that, and so, like, with the because there's, like, a registration sort of marks that you can line up for like, you have it right here, like, just slightly where you line it up with your pencil
Right.
drawings, right?
Right.
Yeah, so that you can get a continuous, um, pattern all the way across, and then you told me another helpful tip because 'cause I'm about to mark a quilt
Oh,
top
yes.
with this. It's that trip around the world that's waiting to be quilted.
Oh, great. That's gonna be beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, and one of the things that I remembered you said that it's easier to mark the quilt top without it being sandwiched together first.
Yes.
So that's what I'm
Yes.
gonna do, and that makes perfect sense because it's more flat, put it on the table, and then
Right.
you can
Yeah.
trace it
Iron
out.
your quilt top after you piece it, and then I like to do mark before I baste it. Yeah, because I like to pin baste too. And so
Me too.
um
Mhm.
so yeah, you don't have to worry about any of that. You can do all your marking first. And for your first row, um hold on, let me see if I have, something that I can show you. But what I do is I will mark, like, especially with the looping and the hexie pop, but I will mark out, this first section. And then when I go to move the stencil, I will, like, overlap this section of what you previously marked. You
Got
can also
it.
use the registration mark, but I just have found that it takes a little longer, but just for the first row, if you overlap, this section and then keep marking, it helps from, kind of traveling cockeyed. Like I
Oh,
would start to travel up or
gotcha.
down, and then because the
Yeah.
rows build off of it, you don't have to do it for the next rows, but the first row,
First the
if you
first.
just take your time to kind of
Yeah.
overlap your marks, that'll keep you more straight, and then kind of move on from there. So, but
Good
it's
tip.
also, and you'll find too that it like I feel like with free motion quilting, once your project is finished, you notice like differences in density, right? If it's very densely quilted in one area and more open quilting, that's what your eye is drawn to, not like, oh, this loop is offset from the other,
Yeah.
like it's very forgiving with like wiggles or if you don't have perfect corners or things.
Right.
Um,
And you mentioned it earlier about the dense quilting that it gets so stiff, and that's
yes.
also one of the things that stood out to me when I first saw these is the scale of the pattern. I mean, look at
Yeah.
that. I love that. 'Cause you still get a beautiful pattern that comes through, but then your quilt is drape it will drape and feel softer and more pliable and still have that really pretty pattern on there too.
Yes. Yeah.
I think for a while there, and it probably still is out there, I guess, but and it's very artistic, I think, too, to have, like, all of those very, like, you know dense quilting,
Yes.
done, and where it's different on every single, part of the quilt and
Yeah, that's it really they at H&H they had the Tula exhibit and her quilts are always so beautiful and those are always very densely quilted and I you can see how they're like highlighting different areas.
yeah.
And so there's definitely a use for that as well. But most of the quilting that I do is just stuff that we're, using with our kids or
Yeah.
picnic blankets and things. And so it's or for the bed and so it's really just been so nice to have the all over pattern um that can finish and have the nice open quilting and yeah, it's
Right,
it's
right.
great.
And
So
have you ever, like, combined, patterns so that maybe you do sort of have different parts of the quilt
I
quilted
did.
differently?
I just finished this bag. I was going to show you. So this one I did okay, so you can kind of see I did the modern curve.
Mhm.
Can you see the
Yep,
quilting?
I could see it.
But so I did the modern curve here, but I echoed it with my foot so that it gave it a little different. And then I did lines on the side. So I wanted the quilting on that to kind of be a little different. But
Ooh, yeah,
so you can see how it's I used the stencil to do the outside line, and then I just echoed
with your foot, your
with my
sewing
quarter
foot.
foot. Yeah, but it gives it
Yeah,
a completely different look.
totally,
But then
mhm.
I was still able to use the stencils for
And then you were
to
able
get the
to, like,
design.
make it look like, a border sorta thing with the straight
Right.
lines, and you just did straight lines.
Right.
Oh, see? It's almost like
This is the
embellishing. That's
yeah,
so
you could
cool.
definitely like add if you
Yeah.
wanted like,
Yeah, yeah.
pebbles or so. I mean, you could definitely go
Yeah, you could
um
do mix your
more
free motion in with that if you wanted
right.
to.
Yes, for sure.
Nice. Yeah. See, that's
So,
what another reason why that scale is so nice because you can add and fill in if you want, or um you could even like skip and make it even bigger if you wanted to, and then put something
right.
like put straight lines in between the rows or whatever. So, yeah,
Yes.
the options
Yeah.
are endless. So that's
Yes, and
so great.
that was part of it too, is that I want people to feel empowered to try different things and, just kind of see what your project calls for. So, and I think too, like free motion quilting I know there's a lot of people that are intimidated to start, right? Because you've done all this time in piecing, but um, having well, you do have to, it does require a little bit of practice. So you do have to give yourself some grace with that. But knowing that there are tips as you're learning, like use a coordinating thread color, right? If you're using a color that, like in this one, I did yellow, right? So yellow is going to stand out a little bit more than if I had done like a blue or something that would more blend
Mhm.
in with the background. So using
Right.
a color thread that's going to kind of blend in with your fabrics. You can also quilts that have fabrics with prints on them. The quilting is not quite as noticeable as with solids. Like if you have all solids, your quilting can be a little bit more prominent. So practicing on something that's with a print can help hide your stitches and wobbles a little bit. But having it, I have found that having the pattern drawn out like that takes step one decision out of it, right? Because when you have your feed dogs down and your free motion foot, you are controlling the stitch length. The speed of your hands and the speed of the needle is what's controlling your stitch length, at least for most machines. I do think
Yes.
there are some, I haven't tried them, but I know that there are some that it will regulate the stitches. So
Stitch regulator. Yeah.
yeah, so it will sense how fast you are moving and stitch.
And that
But
gets taking used to as well because I do have one of those.
oh, do you? Okay, yes. Have
Yeah.
you done free motion with the stitch regulator then?
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
so do
have.
you just turn on the needle and then is that kind
It
of how it
well, there's 2 it has 2 options, so you can choose whether you want it to, like, follow your thing, but still sorta keep the stitches as even as possible, which is what I like,
okay.
or, what's the other one? There's another one, and it's a little too automated for me to like it. So
Right.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
haven't used it in a while, so that's why I'm like sort of not remembering right.
Well, no, that's okay too. So yeah, but like on my machine on my Juki, I'm in complete control,
Yes.
of it. So if I'm moving my hand super fast and the needle slow, I'm going to get really wide
Tiny
stitches. And
or wide, yeah.
yeah, and then vice versa. If I'm moving my hands very slow and the needle very fast, you get tiny stitches. So you do kind of get a hang of it. But the other great thing I have found is that you develop muscle memory because you're repeating the same pattern over the whole quilt. So both in marking it and then also when you're going to sew. Um, so you learn the muscle memory of those patterns. And so it will help you when you're practicing your free motion quilting too. So
So with the stencils, then you would use your free motion foot to basically trace your markings
yes.
with the needle, right? Okay.
Yes. So
Mhm.
the patterns are from one edge to the other. They're a continuous line design. So like when I have a bigger project, this is not really necessarily a good example, but you can roll your quilts and then you would stitch this whole pattern across, feeding it through. So then when you're moving under the needle, you'll move to the side to stitch, you follow this whole line. I know if you're not watching the video, you can't see, but your needle will follow the pattern left, right, diagonal, kind of all the
Mhm.
way through the line, and then I would unroll and go to the next row. I do tend to start at a middle row of my quilt, probably, and I will go from one edge to the other, and then work my way to one side of the quilt, and then flip over and do the rows to the other side.
Okay. And that's just like a standard sort of quilting machine quilting thing to do is like you start in the center and then work center to right and then flip
Yes.
it and center to left, so that you don't have all your whole quilt bunched into the little
Right,
tiny
yes, exactly,
space.
yes, because 'cause you're
Yeah,
trying to fit it under the throat of the
yeah, yeah.
machine, yes.
And then it evens out so that like your your quilting part of it like is even with the batting and the backing sort of thing.
Right,
Yeah.
right, you kinda can smooth out to the
Yeah.
sides as you go.
Mhm.
Yes,
Right. Okay.
yes.
All right. Good to
So,
know.
I will as I'm getting started, I do like quilting gloves, and I prop things kind of all over around my desk is near a window, so I will put a piece of cardboard or foam core between the desk and the windowsill so that the quilt doesn't fall off the back of the, table, and then same with on the side, I have a little kind of tray next to the side of me, kind of on my left side that I will like pile up the quilt
Oh, I do
if
that
I'm
too.
working on it. Yeah.
Yeah, to
And
handle the weight
so,
from pulling it down.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. So that gravity is not
You're not
working
fighting
against
gravity.
you.
You're right.
Yes. So, and then I will, you see the area that you're going to quilt next, and I'll stop and take out pins in that area, kind of smooth with my hands, and then stitch that area and proceed across, same thing. Like for the next section, I like to stop. I like to tell people if you stop at corners or at where lines intersect, because sometimes when you start and stop with free motion, the needle will jump just a little bit. So if you stop kind of at a point or at an intersection, that will hide it a little bit more than if you stop in the middle of a curve,
Got
you
it.
know.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay,
Yeah.
that's a good tip.
Yes.
Yes. So this is really great because it does take some of the intimidation out of free motion because your eyes have the pattern on there. All you have to do is follow or trace it with
Right.
instead
And you
of
can
instead
focus
of
on,
telling your mind, "Okay, which way do I need to go?" Like, you're making it up as you go along, trying to
yes.
yeah, yeah, do a
Yes.
stipple or pebbles or whatever. So, that's kinda nice too, because this could be sort of like a stepping stone to getting to that part of getting more comfortable with free motion quilting.
Oh, for
Um,
sure. Yes. And
yeah.
you're the same thing. You're learning, the muscle memory of the smooth, like the curves and things and the looping. I always tell people, especially because it is similar to how you would start a feather if you were doing custom quilting and doing a feather. You kind of start
Mhm.
around and then, but with the feather, you loop back with the petals and, um, so yeah, you're definitely kind of getting familiar with those shapes and spacing too, because when you're doing custom free motion, what I found is that all of a sudden I would get very dense in this area and then it'd be like, oh no, now I gotta be that dense. Like you have to continue that
Yeah, you
for the
gotta
whole
balance it
quilt.
out.
Yes. So the stencils too, like gives you a perspective of like, okay, what kind of
Yes,
density do I like? And,
right.
kind
Mhm.
of getting used to those things for if you wanted to move into free motion
Yeah, and
quilting.
like you said, echoing makes it a little bit more dense, and if
Yes,
someone likes a more
exactly.
dense quilt and they like that kind of thing, they can do it much easier that way. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so I
Yeah.
just love this product and can't wait to try it.
Yeah, let me
Um,
know how it goes. And if you have
yeah.
questions, I love it.
Okay, I will. I will. I will. So, I'm just like in the middle of making this commission quilt at the same time, so it's just like, um, I don't know. I could be working in tandem, but then sometimes then I went outside for gardening, so I'm like a squirrel, you know.
Well, especially this time of year, you're like, we got to take advantage of these beautiful days, right?
Cold
Yes.
today. It's
It
been
is
like
cold
so
today.
hot and humid.
I know.
And then all of a
Yes.
sudden, and now I'm freezing when it's 50 degrees outside. And so
Yes.
anyway, that's our Chicago weather, but
That's it.
usually stabilizes in June. So April and May are kind of like those turbulent, sort of confused
Yes.
seasons sort of thing.
Hot and cold, hot and cold.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, okay. So these stencils are available direct to consumer from you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I have an online store, www.sewharmony, harmony.com. And then I've been doing in-person events. So
Yes, yeah. That's been great. I loved seeing the in person. So,
yeah.
mhm.
Yeah, so there's a shop in Chicory and Thread, which is in New York. She's an online shop and she's been doing some shows out on the East Coast. So she has them as well. And then locally Warm and Cozy in Barrington, Illinois has them. And then the Quilted Cow down in Missouri just did a Facebook Live where they featured them. So they have some too. So I'm working
Cool.
on trying to do more
Nice.
wholesale. So slowly and surely. But right now they're, on the website, so
Great. Yes. And, uh, uh, I wanted to ask you this because you told me about it at the show, but the best marking tool for these, I like
yes.
friction pens, and I think
Yes.
that would be a good one, right?
Yes, you can for sure use friction or water-soluble pens. Um, so the difference would be, and because I did some research on this. So water soluble pens, the water is hydrophilic, so it's attracted to water. So when you wet the pen, it is lifted from the fabric and washed away. So the friction pens, the technology is that when you heat it, there's a chemical reaction that changes the color. The pigment it disappears, but the ink stays in the fabric. So then when there's the chance that if it gets super cold, the chemical reaction could reverse.
Yeah, I've
So,
heard
but
that before.
I have used friction and never had that happen.
Me
I have
too.
heard people that have had it happen. So I think it's just kind of your preference. The nice thing about the friction pens is that there's a lot more color options for them.
Yeah.
And it's, like the most common one is black. So that's like a darker color. The water soluble tend to be a light blue color. Um, so yeah, I think it's kind of your preference. I would just say when you're marking, try and use all of one type. Like use only heat erasing or only water soluble. So when you're going to remove them, I because I will my favorite are I like the water soluble. I do use the friction. Um I had someone tell me that the clicking friction, which I haven't found, um, I've just used these frictions and these ones are fine, but apparently the one that is a clicker is much wider down here, so she just said she really had to, like, hold it against the stencil to mark. So I'm trying to find this so I can see, but,
Yeah,
the
I've got the clicking. I got a little bit of both, but I tend to
Yeah,
like the clicking ones because it's just easier,
yeah, you'll have to let
for
me know.
that. Yeah.
But otherwise, the water soluble one that's my favorite is this Soline. It's called Styla. Um, and it's this one and the clover one have washed out the clover water soluble thick ones. These two are a light blue and they have washed out the best. Like
Good.
I just spritz them
Yeah.
with water and they clean off. And then
Oh,
the friction ones you just iron
right,
after
right.
you would mark the quilt, baste it, stitch it, and then either spray off or iron off your marks.
And the also too, I use, at times the Soline, and there's a Fons and Porter as well, the pencils, the chalk
Oh
pencils,
yes,
and those
yes.
are nice too.
I will keep a white
White.
pencil near me
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
the blues mark well, and even with the friction white. If you have a white pen, whether it's heat, because Clover has a heat one, and I
Yes.
know there's also a white, I think Dritz has a white oh, Mark Be Gone white one. But just know that they take about 30 seconds for the line to appear.
Yes.
So
I've
for
used Clover one.
white, yes, for any of the white markers, when you mark on fabric, a lot of people think that they've dried out or they're not working, but it just takes, 15 seconds or something for the line to appear. So I'm
And
not
it really
I
appears nicely. Yeah,
yes, yes.
the Clover one
So,
does. Yeah. Yep.
yeah.
Okay, good. I'm glad we talked about, like, the marking tools, because
Yes, so then and normally I will just keep a couple on hand. I have a jar that sits next to where I work, and so, just you just don't want to run out, or like I said, having the
mm,
white for black fabrics, um, where you're marking and then um so you don't have to stop, you can just keep going.
mhm. Yeah. Okay,
Uh,
cool. Okay. So then, you have a new product coming out
yes, yes.
soon.
These are the prototypes. I'm making a smaller version of each of them. So this is um for the actually I have a quilted sample? I think I do. So that you can do pouches and bags and smaller, but this is what the
The
hexagon
scale.
one will
Oh,
the
yeah.
scale of the
Okay.
smaller one. But I have one of the looping one too. So you can make bags and patterns, pouches, something that is a smaller scale. And I will have one of the hills as well. So this is in June, I'm coming out with the smaller versions. And then in the fall, I hope to do um, an orange peel and
Yay!
yeah,
That's what I chatted about with you when I first met you. I'm
yes,
like, "The orange
yes,
peel."
yes, I know. I love that pattern. That's my favorite. So,
Yeah, so I'm measuring this. So your original one is about 6.5 of a scale,
yes. So
for the
this
loop
one,
one, and that one you're holding looks closer to more like a 3 or something, 2.
yeah, it's around 4 inches
4
actually.
inches.
Yeah,
Nice.
so I wish I had the sample here. It's probably right in front of my face and I just don't see it. But
But you have that traced out
because
one, so you could really see it from that one.
yes, and you
Yeah,
can the thing with it is you can keep the pattern this far apart or you can move it and draw the second row, here. And so
got ya.
it's much denser quilting if you wanted. You have options with that as well. So yeah,
Good.
that will be so fun to have. Um, just another way to because I've started making more pouches and bags too, and having
Yeah?
smaller quilting is or table runners. The I have used the larger stencils on a fair number of table runners, and those work great. But
Yep.
sometimes it's nice to have
Yeah.
smaller quilting
Great. Oh,
on
that's
those
so
projects.
exciting. I can't wait to see those come out.
Yeah,
June's almost here, so yay.
I know it's coming soon.
So, then people just need to, like, go to your website and, you'll have them up on your shop when they're available in June, right?
Yes, and I have a
Okay.
newsletter I'll be
Oh,
emailing
perfect.
out. when they'll be available.
Awesome. That's so
So,
great. Well, this is great, and, I thought we would just before you go, we could just do a fun little chat called a f
oh,
I'm
great!
creating a segment called Fun Chat.
I love it. I love it.
Just so, like, we can get to know, the creators behind, what they do, and I think it's just fun to, it helps to get to know you, a bit better and,
Yes,
see how alike we are, because we all seem to see the more people I talk to, the more alike I think that we all are.
I agree. I completely agree. Yes.
So you're a quilter and you also have sewn pouches. I mean, like me, you like to make it all probably. And
Uh-huh.
are there other things that you like to make or do just as your own hobby?
I've been it's interesting because I feel like for whatever reason this year, because I grew up being very crafty. And so, but I think like for a while there, I was focused so much on like, oh, I should do crafts with my kids. And then I would quilt for myself, but I wasn't really doing a lot of other crafts for myself. So I was like, I gotta change this. Like, so this year I've been doing a little bit more diamond art. I it's so fun, like, with they have the one that I have is a shell pattern. So, just something cute, and then I also got a cross stitch pattern, which I it's been years since I've cross stitched, but there was such a cute pattern, that had, like, your sewing notions all on it, and so I got all of the little skeins of embroidery thread, and so I've started cross stitching, and I made these actually, these are behind my desk, hold on. I did these perler beads. So I've been really trying to do more crafts for myself. It's been so
Yes.
lovely. It's been nice. And I would really love to watercolor. I bought I there's a Andrea, I'm not sure, someone I follow on Instagram that she has just the most approachable way of like introducing watercolor. And I'm so inspired by her that I was like, maybe this summer I will, do some watercolor, just something.
Yes. I love to delve into watercolor too. And I've been away from it a little too long. One year I made like birthday cards that were watercolored for my
Oh, I love
parents.
that.
And they loved it. You know, and the diamond art too, I tried it for the very first time last fall
Yes.
when I made this really cute, like, it was purples for the night sky with the tree and the bats.
Oh, I
Oh, it
love
turned out so
that.
cute, and it was just really, like, easy sort of paint by number, but
Yes.
it's just so satisfying to have, like, a
Yes.
finished project, and
Exactly.
yeah,
Something
yeah.
creative and beautiful,
Yes.
and yet you don't have to make any decisions about it.
Nope,
Like,
it was
I
all in a
love those
kit.
kits. Yes.
Yeah, it was a kit and then had all the little stuff, so I all I could had to do was just start doing it,
Mhm.
and it was so much fun, and I I believe firmly now, that you should really have crafty things that you make for yourself or for whatever purpose other than like feeling, that you have to, you know, just stick to what you're doing for
Right.
work or,
Yes,
you know,
I agree. And a
yeah.
lot of, and I am finding too that these, especially the kits, like they're just so easy to start and stop, which makes it like the perfect project to kind of have, in the side. And it's been fun too because the more that I'm doing these projects, the more my whole family is like, "Oh, hey, I want to do." I want so my husband even got
Yeah.
a diamond art kit.
Cool,
So, yeah, so
cool.
it's been so fun to just, yeah, to influence them in that way too, where we all have a creative, we need a creative outlet. So,
Totally. Yeah, and it just helps, keep your brain sharp and everything. I have a niece, that she just is turning 10 actually on Thursday this week,
Oh, how fun.
but she is like a little mini me because she loves all of the crafts and sewing and stuff like I do, and so, I had first got her a little when Joann's was going out of business, I saw this really cute little kids, you know, kit of the diamond
Yes.
art, so I got it for her, and she loved it, and with all the FaceTime and stuff, she was showing me how she did. I'm like, "Ooh, that
Oh,
that looks kind of fun. I'm gonna try it."
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So, that's great. And, good luck with the cross stitch. That's one thing I did do as a kid, but I just haven't, there's some things too that you could just like, say no to,
Yes, for
and
sure.
I
Yes,
have been
for
tempted though
sure.
because there are some really cute designs out there right
Yes.
now. It's really had
Yes,
this
it's
resurgence.
I think so too,
Yeah.
and it's been very fun. I'm not great at it yet. I'm trying to be consistent with I know which way you make your X's, your crosses. Um, and I like it's been so fun to see it done, but I'm just very slow at it still. And I think that I
But
am
it's
aging
okay because it's for
because I'm
you.
like I need a I almost need a magnifying glass. I'm
I
like
totally would. Yeah.
I yes, and I can't do it in my bed at night because I'm
Mhm.
like I'm blind to seeing where the holes are.
Yeah,
So,
I actually have one of those lights, like, down in
oh,
our
do you?
living
I
room
yes.
with the magnifying glass. If I want to, I can lower it and then see, like, because
I'm gonna have to get one.
when I sit down there even to bind quilts, I just lower it because it's just I don't necessarily need it, but
Yes.
it's there, and I'm like, "Why don't I just use it?" And then I use
Yes.
it, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is so much easier."
It's so much more enjoyable, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yes, I know.
Because it's got the ring light around the glass and then the
Oh, that's
magnifying.
brilliant.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I just highly recommend those because they just make your life so much easier. Doesn't
Yes.
necessarily mean you're old, but
Right?
I
That's
mean,
right.
I don't know, because like, some people are very, like, they don't wanna they think it's like like giving into oh, no, that's gonna mean I'm so old or whatever, and I was talking to somebody else about this recently where, there was someone I knew, and they just would not they would fought wearing,
Oh, really?
reading glasses,
Oh, no.
and I'm like, "Here, read this for" I'm like, "You know, you could get reading gla" "Oh, no. Oh, I couldn't," and I was just like, "I don't care." I'm like, "Call me old lady or
Yes.
whatever, but you know what? I
Well,
like to see.
yes.
I don't
Yes.
care I just I like comfort too, like, I don't need to wear the
Right.
the heels, I can wear, like, comfortable shoes, and I of course, I
Exactly.
like them to be
Exactly.
cute.
Well, there's still
I don't go out of my
stylish
way to
things.
be old
Yes.
lady-ish, but, I mean, I'm just more like there's no stigma to it, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Exactly.
I don't
Exactly.
see it, so, anyway.
No, it's
That's my
worth it. It's worth it to get the
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
why wouldn't you,
to
you
get the
know?
lights and all of that.
Mhm,
Yes.
mhm, make your life so much easier.
Yes.
So then, okay. So do you have like some of your most favorite notions or tools to use when you're sewing or quilting?
I feel like I have a pair of scissors that has the blade. I don't know what they're called, but they have a rounded blade. Do you know what I'm talking
Oh,
about? So
yeah,
you can
yeah.
snip.
The
They're like
embroidery.
snips.
Oh no, they're curved
Maybe
up.
they're
Yeah,
curved
yeah.
so that way you can like
Yeah, yeah.
snip extra threads
I think
close
they're just
to
snips.
maybe they're just snips. Yes,
Thread snips.
that's yes, thread snips, like the
Yes.
curved blade
Yes,
thread
I have
snips.
those
Those are
too. Yeah, those are
yes.
nice. Mhm.
Those are some of my favorite. And I did buy the oh gosh, now it just escaped me. The binding needles, they're so thin and easy to use. So these binding needles that I will
Okay.
send you the name
Okay.
of them.
Nice.
But they're just so great. And they're just super sharp and they're nice. So because I
Thin.
like to sew my binding first with the machine on the front and then I fold
Yeah,
it over in hand
me too.
stitch.
Mhm.
And I have done some big stitch binding, which I really like, but these are for just like your normal thread.
Normal. Yeah.
to hide the stitches, but they just work so great, these needles.
See, isn't that great? When you
Um,
find something that you love, it makes it so much more
yes.
fun to do. Well, you'll find it, and then I'll
I
I'll
will. It's
plug
the
it into show
they're in
notes.
Wisconsin, so
Okay, all right.
I will
Yep,
send you
you
the
send it to
link.
me, and then I'll plop
Yeah.
it into the description of
Yes.
the video. So, okay, and then while you are quilting, crafting, or whatever, do you like just quiet, or do you listen to music or podcast, or have TV on in the background?
If I spend like while I am unmasking stencils because when I cut the acrylic, they have a paper on them that I will take off. So while I'm doing that, I like to watch cooking competitions. That's kind of I like
Cool.
Top Chef. I love 24 and 24 is one that's on
Oh,
right
I
now.
don't know that one.
They have 24 chefs come and compete for 24 hours, and then at the end, the whoever wins. So they have challenges over the 24 hours. It's a little bit insane, but it's fun. Um, and so I like watching that. But otherwise, when I'm quilting or piecing, I like listening to audiobooks or podcasts. I
Oh, I like
love,
those too. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I'm
So,
so into
um,
audiobooks right now.
yes,
Yeah.
it's been
Mhm.
great. I really loved the Remarkable
Yeah.
Bright Creatures. That was a phenomenal audiobook, and they just released the movie for that. But the audiobook was just they did such a great job um with that. So
Yes, yes. Oh, wait, that's cool. Yeah, I have some different scenarios too. So it's just like if I really have to focus hard, then it's either I usually put on, I love classical music for that because
yes,
it
me
just,
too.
I, I grew up, taking classical piano and it just calms me and I just feel like I can focus and still be
Oh, that's
serene.
incredible.
So yeah, but then sometimes like I want other stuff on. So it's just like your moods, I think,
Yes, I'm
is
the
is how you
same.
kind of go with the flow with that. Oh, very
Yeah,
good. Very good.
yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna conclude and wrap up. I did just have one more. I might as well just go with it. We're going long, sorry. But if you had unlimited time, unlimited budget, what like do you ever think of like a dream project or experience that you would do?
I okay, well, if it was quilting related, I really want to make a cathedral window quilt. You know where you like you bend somehow you like
Yep,
fold it back and attach. I think those are beautiful. Like I would
they are.
love to do that, and I imagine that would require custom quilting. Like I feel like you can't um do an all over pattern with that because you'd
I
spend so
see.
much time,
Yeah.
you'd spend so much time
Yeah, yeah.
you would need to custom quilt that. So I
Oh,
think that that would
cool.
be incredible. But
Nice.
otherwise I love like I would love to travel more with my family too. Because we have 4 kids, so there's 6 of us. So we have done more traveling now that they're older. We have an 11 through 18-year-old are their ages, and so it's so much easier now that they're older. But it's also expensive for
Yes.
6 flights and things like that. So I
Oh,
think
yeah.
that if the budget was not an issue, then we would travel more internationally. We stay
Yes.
local. We stay local.
Yeah, yeah, me too.
So
Mhm.
I would love that.
I would too. I'm just dying to go to the UK and
Yes.
just the whole Europe thing, but then also I like Japan and
Yes.
South
I've seen more and
Korea.
more people visiting there and it
So
just looks incredible.
it does, it really does. But good. Oh, thank you so much. So that was fun. And um, is there anything that you want to leave with us, the listeners and viewers, today?
No, this has been so lovely. Thank you so much, Stephanie. And I really, yes, it's been so enjoyable like, getting to know you and
Well,
seeing you has been
you
just such a treat.
too. Well, I will leave
So,
with them that they need to go to sewharmony.com and
oh
take a
yes,
look at your
yes.
stencils and get on your newsletter.
Yes, yes,
so
thank
that
you.
they can see when your mini stencils come out. So thank you so much for taking the time to share this product that you've developed. And I can't believe I didn't know that you made them yourselves. You lasered those. They are
Yes.
so beautiful and
Oh,
perfect.
thank you, thank
So
you.
and I love the color of it too because um, there there is actually in the UK, this person that makes I don't know that she lasers her own, but she has a similar like bluish color to her um they're English paper piecing
Oh,
stencils. So like
cool, yes.
hexagons and like the
Yes.
different shapes. And when I got them, I'm like, oh, these are so pretty, but they're still clear. So I
Yeah.
think it's very pretty.
Yeah, thank
Almost like
you,
a
thanks.
glass. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. All right, great. So, Melody, thank you so much. And look forward to chatting with you again. And definitely you will come back as long as I keep doing the show.
That sounds terrific. I would love to. I would love to.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Okay, bye, thank you.
Bye.